Hi guys. Today we're going to learn some of the vocabulary words from our new chapter in math. So in our new chapter we're going to be learning about measurement. And measurement is how we find out how big something is. So for the first week we're just going to be talking about length and height. So length is how long something is, and it's horizontal. So remember we talked about horizontal and vertical. Length is how long something is. So if something is laying on its side, if my pencil's laying on its side, I want to know how long it is. Height would talk about how tall it is. How much distance is there from the top of the pencil to the ground? Now this pencil is not very big, so if I could use my stapler to do length, I would figure out how long it is, but then I would also want to see how tall it is, how tall it is from the ground. How tall are you? Do you know? Miss Simons is 5'3" and 3/4, and I just say that I'm 5'4". So we're actually not going to use feet to measure anything yet. What we use to measure is called a unit. So feet would be 1 unit of measure, but we're going to use what we have around the house. So I have some paper clips here. You can measure something in paper clips. It would take a lot of paper clips to measure how tall Miss Simons is. It would take a lot of paper clips to measure my height, but we can do it. Now all of these paper clips are the same size. So if you're going to use paper clips as your unit, which is what you use to measure, make sure they're all the same size. I also have some squares over here. And as you can see, they're a different color on one side. It doesn't matter if they're a different color, they have to be the same size. So we could use paper clips, we could use squares, you could use blocks if you have a lot of blocks that are about the same size. Really anything you have at home that you can line up and measure with, you can do that. So the way that we measure something is we take our unit. Let's start with length first. We take our unit and we're going to put it at the beginning or at the start of our item. So here we're doing the feather, and they've put this nice little line here for us. You won't always have a line, so just get it as close as you can. So I have 1, and then I'm going to put another one right here. 2. 1, 2 paper clips. So this feather is 2 paper clips long. Let's see how long our stapler is. So this one, there's no line here for me, so I'm just going to match it up the best I can. So the stapler starts about here, so I'm going to start my first paper clip here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a little bit left over, but it's okay because we can't fit another. If we put another paper clip on there, it would be too long. All right, so we have 5 paper clips long for the stapler and 2 paper clips long for the feather. Which one is longer? The stapler is longer because it has more paper clips. It's more paper clips long than the feather. So the stapler is 5 paper clips long and the feather is 2 paper clips long. Which number is bigger? the 5. So longer means that it is bigger. So when you're talking about how long something is, something that is longer is bigger. So as you can see, if I put the feather and the stapler side by side, you can tell just by looking that this is longer, right? And the feather is shorter. So longer means bigger, shorter means smaller. All right, so that's length. And then when we're talking about height, how high something is up off the ground, or how tall something is, something will either be taller or shorter. So we can actually still do this with the stapler and the feather, because the feather doesn't come up high enough off the table to actually be measured, right? So we're going to say that it is 0 paper clips tall. And I'm going to use the paper clip to measure how tall my stapler is. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start it at the bottom. I'm going to kind of put my finger here where the first paper clip ends, and then start the paper clip where the last one ended and count again. So I had 1, 2 paper clips. My stapler is 2 paper clips tall and the feather is 0 paper clips tall. Which one is taller? The stapler is taller. It has more paper clips. It is bigger. Which one is shorter? The feather is shorter because the way we measured it, it was laying down on the ground and we were measuring it this way. We could also measure them this way, and we would still end up with the stapler being taller, right? So if you're measuring height, you can measure it straight up off the ground, or you can measure it this way from the bottom to the top. So those are some words that we're going to be using when we are measuring. We're going to be measuring height, how tall something is, and length, how long something is. And then something, when we're measuring the length, one thing will be longer than the other, or one thing will be shorter than the other. And when we're measuring height, one thing might be taller than another thing, or shorter, or pay attention because they might be the same. Some of those are tricky. Also, don't forget, our unit is what we use to measure with. So if you're measuring with some paper clips, make sure they're all the same size. They can be different colors. Or if you're measuring with squares or blocks, that's fine too. Just make sure that you're using the same size to measure. And remember, when you're measuring, you start at one side and take your unit all the way to the other side to measure how many. So how many did I put here? How many paper clips between this line and this line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What about if I want to measure the height of this line? I'm going to use my squares this time. So this is 5 paper clips long. Let's see how many squares long this is. I'm going to start at the bottom and add my squares. until I get to the top line. And I don't have enough room to put another square. So later on we'll talk about, how to figure that out. But right now, if you don't have enough room for the last square, just stop and count how many you could fit in there. So we have 1, 2, 3. 3 squares tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paper clips long. All right. Good job today, guys.